Hey everybody, today is going to be a bit of an industry quickie. Um, Normally, when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to students, what people ask me all the time is, what software, right? Like, what software should we learn? Even a couple years ago, I probably would have said, hey, if you're going into this, whether it's games or film or television, Maya and Zbrush are kind of the de facto combination for most of the modeling. Maya for rigging and animation, stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is that over the course of my career, if you asked me what the best app was, I would tell you the exact same thing, and that is the one that I got paid to use. When I started in the industry, I worked in 3ds Max. All of my texturing stuff was done in Photoshop. As the industry evolved and as we moved on, my team got moved over to Maya. We started incorporating more tools, different tools. Eventually, Houdini, Substance, ZBrush, all of these things would come in. The dirty truth of the matter is that no piece of software is better or worse. Every package has its pros and cons. If you talk to anybody on the internet, you will find these internet gatekeepers that are just like, Maya is industry standard, or Max is best, or Cinema 4D, or Blender, or whatever. Maya has a lot of tools for animators. It's got a lot of wide adoption across many industries and many studios. The problem with Maya for me, I find, is that it is kind of slow. Its boot up time sucks. It's kind of clunky. It crashes a lot, which is really frustrating. It has an autosave functionality in it, but that actually increases the likelihood of crashing. So what's the point? Then we get to ZBrush, and ZBrush is this thing that can handle a bajillion polygons. It's for sculpting high resolution things. The problem is that the workflow, the UI, it's kind of shit. You might be thinking like, well, that's not that big of a deal, really. It is kind of trash. And the problem for me is those who really love ZBrush, they have found the ways to just kind of work around all the warts and all the kinks and all the design flaws. It is a fantastic piece of software. I'm not going to bash on ZBrush too much. It's just that the UI is hot garbage. Then we come to my first love of 3D, 3ds Max. This thing was kind of, the child of AutoCAD, the offspring of AutoCAD, had a lot in common with the program. The big thing that I loved about Max versus Maya was the modifier stack. That was the party trick of Max. The main con now for Max is that, games and film have kind of abandoned it in favor of Maya. There are some pockets, throughout like Europe, France, some areas in Asia where Max is still, reigns supreme with studios. Then there's the other stuff, right? I don't know how many people have played with Fusion 360, but it's pretty damn cool. It's kind of NURBS based. It's, designed around engineering. It's meant for product design and prototyping and stuff like that. But I've seen a lot of weapons and hard surface modelers for games actually work in Fusion 360. And then I've had a few people come up to me and be like, we love Cinema 4D, we love Cinema 4D. I'll stop you right here. I've never been paid to use it, so I haven't bothered, right? If it's not a paying gig and it doesn't use the software, I'm not gonna, dip my toes into it. Now, the real reason that I used to tell people, hey, use Maya, use ZBrush, was because every studio out there looking for artists was using those pieces of software. However, over the last 5-6 years, there's been kind of this shift in the industry, and it's begun and it's moving pretty quickly. We've seen big, first parties. We've seen Epic investing in Blender, right? This is a big move. There are millions of dollars pouring into the Blender Foundation, whether it's from Epic or whether it's from Adobe, which is, I never like seeing Adobe put money into things because Adobe is kind of evil. And we've even seen, Ubisoft just straight up saying like, we are adopting this. So there has been this push into other pieces of software and into not being kind of tied to software for your pipelines. Now I know there's these elitists out there that are going, meh, he's talking about Blender, meh. And here's the darkest secret. Me, an industry professional with a lot of years of experience, Blender has actually become my preferred 3D package. It opens in like 5 seconds, so it's already 10 minutes ahead of Maya. It's faster for modeling, it's faster for sculpting. I can do it all in one package. And most importantly, it's free. Now, I know people are like, just because something is free doesn't make it great. The truth behind it is, open source software stuff, it used to be this wasteland of kind of unpolished trash, right? You would download these tools and they'd be abandoned, and you're not getting a great experience. Move fast forward to today, I'm capturing my footage on OBS. I'm editing video in Shotcut. I was using Photopea to do a couple of edits because Photoshop is owned by Adobe, and it's another pain in the butt, another subscription that I just don't want to deal with right now. The point is that open source software has actually gained critical mass. It's important. It can survive and it can thrive now. There's a lot of really devoted large internet communities revolving around this stuff. And like I was saying before, like people and even corporations are donating funds to further develop it. And I've always said the one thing that was holding Blender back was it didn't have a phone line that I could call up and yell at somebody about something being broken. Well, Blender has been able to get enough money coming in every year now that they have a full-on customer service line, and they even have long-term support builds. These are awesome. Now, why am I talking so much about this? Well, when you're looking for talented artists, they have, software skills, right? A lot of the current crop of artists that are coming to the market today have come up using some flavor of Blender because it's a free download, there's no licensing, and you don't have to go on a sketchy pirate site and download some sort of awful, virus or infection to your PC. And it's probably been installed on school computers, library computers, like anywhere where a kid would be wasting time, there's probably a copy of Blender out there for them to dig into. When I was in school, way back a millennia ago, Autodesk reps would come to the school and actually hand out cracked software to students so that they would learn their software instead of the competitor. Today, I look at Autodesk and I see how far they've kind of fallen behind on this, right? They're this big money-grubbing machine. Now, when you're in school, Autodesk products are all free, which is fantastic. The problem is while you've got your student software, it's not usable for commercial work, right? You'd get in trouble. Whereas with Blender, there is no licensing. It is open source. It is something that you can use commercially, you can use it educationally, you can do it as a 3D printing enthusiast, whatever you want to do. Now, I've got friends over at EA and they're working on big multi-million-dollar mega commercial games projects. Guess what they're modeling in? They're modeling in Blender, and they're modeling in Maya, and they're modeling in Z. They don't care where the model comes from. They just want it done, and they want it done awesome, and they want it done fast. So whatever the artist can produce the best results in, they're going to do that. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, in closing, when you're trying to figure out what programs you should learn the program that you need to learn to produce the work that clients would want. If you can model in Maya, model in Maya. If you can model in Blender, model in Blender. It all comes down to how quickly and how much quality you can create in it. It doesn't matter if it's Blender, if it's Maya, if it's Max, if it's Houdini, if it's Zbrush. Whatever it is, the client will let you know what they want. Now, if I'm given the choice, if all I have to do is deliver assets, deliver an FBX file or whatever, I'm just going to use Blender because it's free, it's everywhere, and it is really good, right? I can't stress that enough. All these people that are hiding behind, industry standard and all this stuff, it's too late, right? It's in the industry now, it's becoming the standard. All right, guys, this is just a little quickie, and I just wanted to say thanks again. Subscriber count's going up. If you guys can hit the like button, if you can subscribe, I know that there's a lot of people watching that haven't subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't push too many videos, so I won't flood your channel. All right, thanks very much, and have a great day. Stay safe and happy gaming.